What do you mean that's trash? I could use that. Don't throw it out. No, we're gonna end up using the deodorant top and some tops from Body Wash. Yeah, usually they just go in the trash. Good to cut them down. And I just have a mini here to get an idea of how much should be cut down. You can end up using your Dremel, razor blade, scissors. Dremel's probably easiest. Right here, just trying to get it a little bit more even. Glue the buggers onto cardboard. They don't need to end up being like perfectly level, but try to go for as good as you can. Standard gluing, you know how to glue. I'm going for 3 variations. Obviously, just cut down the bases to what you need. You can end up using the hot glue to fill in the corrugation now, if you want. I'm just basically going along the tops there to give it a little bit of stick for what's going to come later with the white glue. Some of the sand, just so it's basically looking half decent and has something to grip onto. Let's see, I'm basically doing 3 of them from just this basic idea, so you could do a lot of stuff with just a simple idea and modifying it. Yeah, make sure that they line up decent with the scale of the minis. Here I'm just taking some pebbles, hot glue, sticking the pebbles on, and do it up just basically whatever you got. You could use the aquarium gravel, these bigger pebbles, rocks from your yard. You get the idea. Here we go, just end up getting some twine, some watered down PVA glue. Cut a length, it doesn't matter because it's going to be like a spider webby type altar, so you don't really need to worry about getting it, machine shop perfect. You're going for a more organic look. So basically just dip your string in, let it soak in a little bit of the PVA water mix, and get it straightened out a bit, and you're just gonna loop it around the little altar there. You're gonna want to loop it up around top, add a little bit of extra glue to it just with the paintbrush, and get the top, and you can end up just coating it with some glue later on to get the strength up, make sure it sticks, all that fun stuff. Just pour some white glue into the gaps between the pebbles there. Take a wet paintbrush, just put it in, and you're going to pour some construction sand in the first step, and later on you could do it again with some play sand. You could cut the base down, do up the base with the sand too. It just depends on how you want to end up doing it, and if you want to flock it, if it's in the forest, if it's in the desert, you know, it's your piece, so do with it what you want. You don't even need to black bomb the string here. You could just end up using your straight black acrylic paint. You can water it down a bit, thicken it up, just depends on the type of string that you're using and just how it covers. End up basically doing what seems to cover best. Once again, it could be, you know, thick would be your best bet, thin would be your best bet. You just want to get decent coverage, just for the shadows and all that fun stuff that is going to sink in a little bit. If you're worried about the corrugation showing through, you can end up just giving another hit with the hot glue. And it's not that hard, just make sure not to burn your fingers, because I've done that too many times. And we're going to put some more white glue into where we have the sand between the pebbles, water it down a bit, end up using some play sand, which is a finer grade. I like to compare the pool filter construction sand to like regular sugar, and the play sand is a bit like powdered sugar. Yeah, it's up to you how much coverage that you want with the play sand there. It's your piece, do what you want with it. Also, just the piece that ended up having the hot glue on it, I'm gonna coat with some white glue there and just dip in the sand to give a little bit of texture. It's, like I said, it's your piece. I just wanted to experiment with this because you could get a lot of different like textures just from this one design. And this one ended up coming out just like half decent, like a granite or a regular rock. We're gonna do like a little bit of dry brushing. The brush doesn't need to be absolutely dry. You'll just get the feeling for how much paint is going on and how much you need to make it look a little bit spider webby. Originally I was doing this for basically a spider queen altar, and it's basically turned out from a simple idea that actually looked pretty good. You can embellish it a little bit. Here I am doing the white. I'm gonna put later on sort of like almost like a zombie skin tone on it, and then redo it with just minimal white dry brushing, just so it has a dimensionality look to it, and so it doesn't look like it's fresh spider web sitting in a dungeon. And here we are. I just mixed up like a grayish yellow, rottingish, spilled all over the type paint color. Made it like fairly thin, just going over it. Like I said, it turned out a little bit like a zombie flesh. All the painting stuff you can end up figuring out yourself, color wise, whatever fits in with what you're doing. Hey, I'm not the boss of you. Here it looks at the end, the stone one. You can embellish it with some gore, put a little bit of hot glue on it, and just paint it like red. Here's the stonish looking one. I like this a bit because it ends up showing the dimensionality of the different layers. And here I ended up, just like I said, dry brushing a little bit of white on the spider web one. I think it turned out decent. Have fun, y'all.